What's up, YouTube? This is the Mermail Master coming at you guys from the Team Time Riders Yugioh channel today with a Banlist analysis video. As you guys already saw, Timaeus, the God Monarch, he was on here earlier. He did a live Banlist reaction video for the most recently released Banlist. If you guys haven't seen that yet, go check it out. It's really amazing. Timaeus is doing some fantastic work with the editing right now. And while I don't quite have the editing skills that he have, forcing me to sort of, put together a Byzantine video such as this, I still wanted to bring you my thoughts on this list. So check out his before you watch mine. Go there. It's really, really good. And without further ado, let's get started on my Banlist analysis. So this is going to be a little bit different than the Banlist reaction now that we've kind of had time to take in some of the changes here and figure out where the format's going to go from here. So as you guys can see, this is the American list. They finally updated this, and it is starting from February 5th, which means that rather than going to, a lot of people mistakenly thought the list was going to start in May, but we're going to get an update no sooner than April 2018. So, this could be a 2-month format. This could be a, 7-month format like we've had in the past. It's all dependent on when Konami is planning on throwing down another list, but at least they're giving us a little bit of leeway here when it comes to balancing out the format. So to start off, I'm going to discuss a couple of the things that I think are very, very interesting. And I'm just going to start by saying, I think, honestly, guys, this is one of our best lists in years. And I really, really mean that. I think this is a fantastic list, and it really kind of helps to deal with a lot of things. And I've noticed that people who have gotten out of the game before due to other things have sort of decided to come back in and play, because, it's a list that really harkens back to some of the old formats that people really, really enjoyed. And I think, I think Konami did a fantastic job figuring out what was wrong and how to fix it. So let's get started on this. So I guess to start out, all of the forbidden copies of things here are just sort of limiting the power of very, very kind of degenerate combos. I made a video earlier. I'm probably going to still post it up. Was not expecting the ban list to drop when it did, but the video basically outlined the just the way that every single deck now services in looping as many link monsters as possible. So rather than each deck setting up its own individual board, you have several different decks just servicing the same exact board, the same exact loops, lots of things. So Konami really took the opportunity to take away those tech cards that people would run in everything that weren't really necessarily made for links, but that the inclusion of links made them abusable. So we have the things like Gofu, Dandelion, with a lot of generation of tokens, Level Eater, no hard ones per turn clause. Very, very glad to see that gone. I think it definitely needed to happen, and now better than ever. Maxi also to 0. I've always maintained that Maxi is an extremely, extremely fair card. I think it's one of the fairest cards in the entire game. However, when your game is evolving and when it's, sort of coming into new things, that even something that might be fair or something that might be really, really good, but not necessarily broken, can find itself in a scenario where it's sort of pushed into the spotlight, which is exactly what happened with Maxi's scenario. And that, Konami has developed these decks all about special summoning and all about throwing as many monsters as possible out there. And, really just trying to make the most possible, stuff with that. So that's one of the other things that I wanted to focus on. So getting further into this, guys, they also took down Pendulum Magicians as well. Another change that I was very, very happy to see. I think Pendulums are just way too free of a deck. And it's not necessarily that, they deserve their time in the sun, but that they were not really that fun of a deck. And you had the formats with Trickstars, Pendulum Magician, and Spirals already. And, if we would have had the same degenerate Pendulum format. So Konami just hitting this and nipping it in the bud was a very, very bold move, especially since they're trying to sell Extreme Force due to the presence of Electrum. So kudos on that. I think Double Iris to 0 was very good. Some people will say that hitting Skullcrabat all the way to 0, completely banning it, was not really that good of a play. However, I kind of disagree on that. I think Pendulums still have incredible power plays, and it really just takes out, takes out one of the other competitions. Granted, we're probably going to have a Trickstar-centric meta for a little while, but it'll be interesting to see what kind of decks sort of rise up out of the ashes of what happened here. So that's pretty much it for the forbidden stuff. And then moving on to like limited things, I think Konami also did a very, very good job here, bringing towers back to 1. Klee have been gone since 2015 or something like that. So getting that back to 1, I think, is not really going to do too much of an issue with anything. Going back up, like with all of the stuff over here, they didn't really bring anything back, but really didn't need to really think about that. But we have Applecliff or Towers and Grinder Golem as well. I think the Grinder Golem, it in combination with Akashic Magician was a very, very broken kind of thing that, this is again another one of those like link loop cards that can be abused. And I think hitting it to 1 instead of 0 was a good choice. It's not outright broken at 0, but like, these decks that focus around spamming out links with 3 Grinder Golem is something that I think Konami was not necessarily planning for. Again, Damage Juggler back to 1. This to me is a sign that Konami is preparing for Shaddolls to be coming back off the list. And why do I say that? It's because they're slowly giving back Clown Dolls, like certain things, and they don't want to like just unban a bunch of Shaddol stuff in the end and make it completely obvious. However, they're sort of, I guess, focusing on really trying to just introduce things back slowly in accordance with their link stuff. They hit a lot of stuff with Shaddolls, so giving back Shaddolls, three copies of their El Shaddol Fusion, and also throwing in a Damage Juggler for good measure is really, really beneficial. Again, there's like, I think the most important thing to focus on is, to support that point is, we have Inzektor Dragonfly and Inzektor Hornet. Both of these cards are not at 1. So, both of these cards are not going back to 3, but I think that's going to be happening very, very soon. Everyone's like Neospace and Grand Mole can come back. Pretty cool. However, one of the biggest things that caught my attention, though, was the fact that Ulti Canahawk here did not come back to... He did not come back to more than 1 level, and I think this was really good. They just got that new Link monster, Kimun Falco, I think it's called. So I think that Ritual Beast probably would have dominated if Ulti Canahawk came back to any more than 1, and so Konami's keeping sort of a lid on that and giving Ritual Beast players just enough that they need to be like rogue, but not enough to sort of dominate the meta. So I kind of like that. I personally am not a fan of going up against Ritual Beast. I had a bad time back during Necros format. I would rather go up against Necros than against Ritual Beasts and Yosenjus, to be completely honest. Between the looping of Ritual Beasts and the just Yosenjus being unaffected by all of your floodgates, special summon wise, it just was a very, very uphill battle. More uphill, I thought, than playing against Necros, where at least specific plays that they have and how to defeat it instead of like whatever. Firewall Dragon, I think, that's another, the link spam thing. So hopefully that's going to quiet things down. I was hoping that they would put Omega to 1 for the same exact reason, but, I really can't complain that much. Of course, we have Spiral Resort to 1, which this removes basically, like, they've been doing some very, very nice hits on Spirals, I believe. This is mostly because Spirals in general sort of got, with links, very, very abusable. And removing that and removing the sort of aspect of that was a very, very interesting play on their part. So, good on them. And finally, Monster Reborn and Solemn Judgment back to 1. Monster Reborn also pushing that that stuff, like all of the sets, the Lost Art set and other stuff. And then Solemn Judgment, of course, to push those counter fairies. Really, really nice to see these cards back. I remember back in 2014, of course, when these things got banned, that nobody really wanted to play with them, or everyone was sad. And I think now, like, tons of people are coming back into the game because they're really very happy to see some of the stuff that they used to play with coming back. Nothing semi-limited, of course, and then the unlimited area, I think, is where we get to some interesting things here. I love how they're bringing back so many things, and the fact that Blackluster Soldier and Envoy of the Beginning can be at 3 and nobody's like freaking out is a pretty amazing thing, to be completely honest with you guys. I think they're not afraid to take the risks. Giving us back Moral Tack was a really gutsy move. But, I mean, they're going to be pushing a lot more Light's Revenge. I know I bought some for the Lost Art promo. Pushing a lot more Light's Revenge. They got Card Trooper, so now you can machine dupe. Troop Dupe Scoop, not a thing since the way back old days. Now gets to be a thing again. So Troop Dupe Scoop from way back in the day. Artifact, Moral Tack, Blackluster Soldier, Thunder King Ryo, Brian Ack, like all of this stuff. They're bringing all of the stun playing back. Brain Control for Link summoning. It's just insane how much stuff that we ended up getting back. Like Mind Control as well to 3 is an insane thing. Preparation of Rites gives Nekroz a little bit of support. Sacrifice, of course, for the Cliff Forts, but most importantly, Bottomless Trap Hole, Torrential Tribute, both to 3, Ceasefire to 3, and Ojama Trio to 3, everything without erratas. Like, this format is going back to when I started in the game, when, you had the Bottomless. I think it was at 2 at the time. Torrential Tribute was at 2. Compulse was at 3. Very, very trap-heavy format, but not unfair in any sense of the word compared to what we have now. And I think, pushing us towards more traps and more stun was a fantastic move. With all of the focus on assembling boards and doing hand traps and doing all sorts of like stupid, crazy plays. This is definitely something that's needed and something that's really helping to rein in the format. So anyway, guys, yeah, that was my analysis on everything that we found. Lots of stuff got hit, lots of stuff came back. Konami did a full like redo on the game, but it was something that I think is definitely needed. Most, like, aside from Pendulum players, I think pretty much everyone is happy with this list. I haven't heard like anyone who's being upset with anything that's happening, like between Grinder Golem, Firewall, Level Eater, and other stuff getting banned. The Pendulum Magician stuff getting banned as well to freshen up the format a little bit. Cleese coming back a little bit. Artifacts coming back. Troop Dupe Scoop can now be run in your Shiranui Lightsworn builds. Different things like that. More people are going to be like building stun decks. Thunder King is finally back. Mind Control and Brain Control, of course. The Preparation of Rites. I think the next Vendread support is going to be really, really good as well. So, there's a ton of really awesome stuff that Konami has done on this list for us guys. And, this is, if there are a ton of people who were not really interested or just quit the game for a little while. But this has encouraged lots of people to come back out of the woodwork and start playing Yu-Gi-Oh! Again. And that, in and of itself is a big hats off to Konami for a very, very well done list. So guys, this was my ban list analysis video. If you liked the video, please remember to rate, comment, and subscribe. Let me know what you think in the comments section below, and I will catch you guys next time. This has been the Mermail Master with the Team Time Riders Yu-Gi-Oh! Channel, and I'm signing out. See you guys soon.